Imagine you had 5 million or even 10 million Ugandan shillings today. The big question is, what would be the smartest way to invest that money here in Uganda? Would you start a business, buy a land, put it in money market fund, or even split it in several investments? In this video, I'm going to walk you through how I would personally divide 5 million to 10 million Ugandan shillings across different investments in Uganda, so that the money can grow while managing risk. And somewhere later in this video, I will share one investment strategy many people ignore that can quietly grow your finances over time. So make sure you stay until the end. This is Becky, and welcome back to Becky Brilliant Finance. First, let's be honest. In Uganda, 5 million to 10 million shillings is not small money. For many people, that amount can take time to save. But at the same time, it's also not big enough to put in one big investment like prime real estate or a large business. And that is exactly why diversification becomes very important. Instead of putting all your money in one place and risking losing everything, the smarter approach is to spread your money into different investments. This way, if one investment performs slowly, the other one can still grow, and another can generate income. The balance between safety and growth is how many long-term investors grow their finances. Personally, if I had between 5 million and 10 million Ugandan shillings, I would divide it between safer investments, income-generating investments, and a few higher growth opportunities. Let's break them down one by one. Before I go to the investment part, first thing I would sit down and audit my life. I would review my finances. Here I would first check if I have working budget, meaning do I have a budget I've done for this amount of money. Second, I would also check if I have savings set aside. Here I mean emergency fund or thinking fund. In case I don't have, then I would also take time to first work on that, meaning some money will set aside for that. Then I would check also my risk appetite. Then from there, I can go ahead to invest. The first place, I would invest part of the money in unit trust or money market funds. I know some of you are like, Beck, you always talk about money market funds. Yes, I do. Because when it comes to safety and preserving your capital, they are one of the best starting points in Uganda. Here is how they work in simple terms. Instead of you trying to manage investments yourself, professionals fund managers invest money for you in things like government securities, T-bills and T-bonds, and other low-risk financial instruments. Your money then earns interest over time. Now here is why I like money market funds. First, they are relatively safer compared to many other investments. Also, they have higher interest compared to savings accounts. They are liquid, meaning you can easily withdraw your money anytime you need it. In Uganda, it takes 2 to 3 working days. They also allow your money to grow steadily through compounding. Compounding simply means the interest you earn starts generating more interest over time. So if I had 5 million, I might allocate around 2 million Ugandan shillings to a unit trust or money market fund. I always see this type of investment as the financial foundation of my portfolio. Since everything is done online, it is easy to start a unit trust or money market fund. The second investment I would consider is Treasury Bills or Treasury Bonds. These are basically loans to the government, and in return, government pays you interest. For T-bills, they are short-term government securities, basically for 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months in Uganda right now. And for T-bonds, they are for long-term government securities, from 2 years to 25 years right now in Uganda. For T-bonds, they pay twice a year. That's after 6 months, you get interest, and we call it coupon. In case you want to know more about T-bills, T-bonds, unit trust, or money market funds, I already made videos about them. Check the links in the description and get to know more about them. Many investors like them because they are backed by the government, which makes them relatively secure. If I had between 5 million and 10 million Ugandan shillings, I might allocate somewhere 1 to 3 million Ugandan shillings into government securities. However, depending on market conditions and interest rates, I might even allocate 3 to 6 million on Treasury bonds. So it means here it depends the market condition, the demand of the money, and interest rate. If interest rates are better, are good, I might do what we call bond laddering, where you invest in bonds with different maturity dates so that money becomes available at different times. Then when coupon or interest payments come in, I would reinvest them. So that's how I would do it, depending on that situation. Also, another reason why I would allocate higher amount of money in the investment one, that's unit trust money market fund, and this option 2, Treasury bills or Treasury bonds, it also depends if I have time. Yes, I'm on 9 to 5 job, meaning I have limited time. So I would learn more about these two investments, unit trust or money market fund, then T-bills and T-bonds. So that's why I would allocate bigger amount, because they require less active management. Now in a moment, I'm going to talk about a very real estate strategy that some people use with smaller capital like this. But before we get there, let's first talk about another investment option that can sometimes generate income faster. Another investment option I would consider is small business ventures. In Uganda, there are many businesses you can start with relatively small capital. And here it works better when you really understand that kind of business. Most people lose money in businesses because they just jump to the business they hear people talk about that they are best. And sometimes they don't consider if they really can do that kind of business or not. So it's really so good to venture into businesses you understand better. Here for me, I would start with small poultry farming or piggery farming. That's where I would allocate some little money. So I would start with piggery farming, which many Ugandan farmers have used to build their income. However, here there is something you need to understand first. Business is not passive income. It requires time, management, patience, and sometimes may also require unexpected expenses. So you have to know when you're going to start a business that it's not a passive income, and it may also require unexpected expenses. So it means here, as you start that business, you allocate some money to the business, you have to leave some little money on side in case of unexpected expenses. If I personally don't have time to manage a business myself, I would totally avoid this option. But in case I have some time, I can allocate, if I have 5 million, I can allocate around 1 million to start small business. The goal here is to create another income stream. Also, if you understand a business better, you can get higher returns. But also don't forget the risk that comes with it. So make sure for the business option, you start a small business and a business you understand better. Start with little, then you keep on adding as your business grows. Now let's talk about something many people love, real estate. Of course, with 5 million to 10 million Ugandan shillings, you can't buy a land in prime locations like in city. But that does not mean real estate opportunities don't exist. With this amount of money, the strategy would be different. Instead of buying prime land to hold for many years, the focus could be buying in developing areas where prices are still low. Here the idea is so simple. Buy a small plot in developing areas, hold it for a short period of time, and then resell it when the prices are a bit higher. So the aim here is not to buy land and be with the land. Here is what people mean when they say buy low and sell high. So the aim for this real estate is mainly to buy low and sell high in short period of time. However, this strategy requires good research and understanding. You need to understand which areas are developing, where infrastructure is expanding, and where future demand may grow. So it must always be an informed decision. Another investment option, I would consider peer-to-peer lending. So this also works when you understand it better. You have to know properly how it works with proper agreement and knowing borrower well. Because when you lend money carelessly, you'll risk losing it. So here people lend money and earn interest on the loans. But again, discipline is the key. You must have clear repayment terms, written agreements, and proper documentation. So if someone understands lending well, they might allocate a small portion of their capital here. Another investment option most people overlook is investing in skills. Skills are powerful because no one can take them away from you. There is no one who can take a skill from you. Once you master a skill, you will earn from it forever. For example, here someone can allocate some of their money in learning skills like video editing, photography, consulting, public speaking, designing templates, digital services, and many others. Sometimes a skill that costs small amount to learn can later generate significant income over time. Another option is SACCO shares, savings and credit cooperatives organizations. Joining a reputable one can sometimes generate dividend around 6 to 9% annually. In addition to dividends, SACCOs can also give members access to affordable loans if needed. However, it is important to join a reputable and well-managed SACCOs. And also there is something you need to understand about SACCOs. Before you join one, it's also advisable to be knowing 1, 2 or more people in that SACCO. Don't just join SACCOs you don't know anyone, because when it's time for loans, they may need someone to sign for you. So you can allocate some of the money in SACCOs. So those are options. I would invest my 5 million to 10 million Ugandan shillings. It might not be all of them, but in those options, I would choose 2, 3, or 4 options where I would invest my money. Remember, I would choose safer investment, the one that can generate some income, and the one for higher growth. But before investing my money, these are fewer things to consider and to remember. 1. Diversification. So meaning here, I wouldn't put all my money in one venture. 2. It's always good to do research before investing. So I would do research before investing, even if 1 shillings of my money. Ask questions and understand opportunity fully before putting your money. Also, I would think long term, because real wealth is usually built slowly. And also avoid the mindset of get rich quick schemes. Another one is reinvest your profits. So I would reinvest my profits. If your investment generates some income, make sure you reinvest some of it so that your finances continue growing. That's how real investors do it. They grow their money through reinvesting their interest. And finally, avoid emotional investing. Don't invest simply something is trending or because everyone else is doing it. Always make decisions based on knowledge and strategy. The truth is, wealth is not built over time. It is built slowly through consistent investing, patience and smart decisions. Whether someone starts with 5 million, 10 million, or even less, what matters most is taking the first steps and investing wisely. Now I'm also curious to hear from you. If you had 5 million, 10 million, how would you invest it here in Uganda? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy content about investing and growing your finances, this is the right channel. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.